and Cafe. Interestingly, Fortress was allowed through. DPLUS Kia, I presume, would probably have the strategic depth to play it. But ultimately, SCARZ will sidestep, and Cafe ends up being the decider. So we see 3 maps that have seen a lot of playtime through APL so far.
And DPLUS get their lair again. It means they will have played it every single series thus far up to this point, including this match now. Clubhouse comes in. It's kind of middle of the pack in the APAC North region for selection. Lair has, well, probably thanks to DPLUS Kia, become the most played map this stage of kickoff. Cafe is the least played. But if we do get there, and it does get played in this series, it'll then therefore be tied as the least played with Nighthaven Labs. For whatever reason, Nighthaven Labs just not a big map in this particular sub-region, and certainly Lair, again, courtesy of DPLUS Kia, being the most played, just seems like a map where a lot of teams feel comfortable to go, because I guess from SCARZ's perspective, I mean, they picked Clubhouse, but they have allowed Lair by not banning it away. They wanted to get rid of Chalet and Bank more so than allowing DPLUS the opportunity to play Lair again.
Yeah, I think the stage is then set pretty clearly, right? If SCARZ failed to win their map selection, I don't know what the path forward from there is, given just how formidable DPLUS have looked on Lair, their ability to break it down, what they've been able to show so far, their response. I think it makes it very, very tricky, and I definitely do not take DPLUS lightly on that first map of Clubhouse. They will know the structures in and out, and more importantly than that, the flow and the team play that they had on offer earlier today looked really, really strong. If you could transpose that over towards Club, where you already know kind of the basic structures, etc., it's just about implementing that on the day, then yeah, I think it's going to be a tough little matchup for SCARZ, and hopefully we see that fight back and forth. I want to see these two teams battle it out a little more strategically than maybe some of the other series that we've had so far.
Yeah, I mean, Clubhouse, I agree with you. I think will be the deciding factor in a series like this. So if SCARZ can win it, then this has the potential of going all 3 maps, and maybe then giving them the confidence booster going into Lair, which whenever you allow a map like that through, you do have to take the notable takeaways from DPLUS's loss on that map to CAG, but it's very difficult to just sort of emulate what CAG did, and we saw that in the earlier series today, where of course DPLUS beat out Helper Salafone. They beat them 7-0 on that map. So Clubhouse for me needs to be must win for SCARZ. If they lose this map, DPLUS will go very confidently into their map pick of Lair. Puts the pressure on nice and early. It is a lower bracket elimination game, lower bracket semi-final. SCARZ DPLUS winner will take on Kinotrope next week in the lower bracket final. The loser is done.
Well, let's see if we finally get the close game that we have been, I suppose, begging for really at this point. Kick it off over towards Clubhouse, the pick of SCARZ, and as such, they will start out on attack. I want to say DPLUS have the comfort of defense, but with the way that Clubhouse sometimes can play out, the way it can get broken down, it's part of that, of course, dependent on the bans. It may not necessarily translate to the most comfortable of positions for them. The bans, as they have played out, it is the Monty Grimm combination, so 2 operators that are particularly strong on this map, especially when you think about strongholds such as Rafters. And then, as we typically see, teams want to alleviate pressure on the hard breach, and so the Kite and the Bandit will be benched as well.
Church and Arsenal, the site choice, no surprises there.
Attackers need to locate and
excited for this one though. Again, I think outside, like for DPLUS, they come into this with overall good form. They just had the one slip up against CAG, but outside of that, they've been very dominant against everyone else. And so I'm a little worried for SCARZ. If SCARZ brings some of the inconsistencies that we saw from their matches, including even in their wins, you can't help but then feel as if DPLUS will be too strong for them and too aggressive. And certainly from a strategic level, the Brazilians are next level when it comes to that. When they get to start on defense, on your map pick, like they can get a pretty hefty lead. If it's 5-1 half territory, then it's sort of like, oh boy, this is nervous times. You know, we see it's going to start basement, but Levy's going to go onto the Scopos, and with a lot of activity on the second floor right now, I just wonder if DPLUS want to kick things off with a nice aggressive early roam.
Yeah, certainly it looks that way.
Sensor on. Searching for electronics.
A lot of presence around the map here at the moment for DPLUS Kia.
This could be a dirt rush. Just could.
It could be. Maybe. They're investigating. Fishlike might give the call here that it's clear.
Yeah, that delays. That just delays.
Balls has already retreated back to the site just to prevent that from being an easy Route 1 attack.
It's still
So
the
at least so
emphasis,
far
though.
Yeah. It's playing out very standard for a dirt tease. Oh, Levy, though, takes a big chunk of damage courtesy of Nino.
I say he's
He
just
can
gonna swap
retreat.
back.
Yep.
Look, I don't think this is well. This is now a win for DPLUS Kia getting the opening kill. I was going to say probably not a win for either team, bit of a stalemate start. But the fact that SCARZ have put the double stack over towards dirt with Rek and also Dino, I can't remember his name, sorry, but Midi gets another one onto Yukiz. And over towards Lounge, Midi has completed the trifecta. And it is now indeed just the double stack towards dirt. That's all that's left. And this is the thing, is that for these two in dirt, they've kind of just been sat here doing really not a whole lot.
Yeah, it's just good stall out. They might be able to sneak a plant. Nope. Okay, Nizzy will line them up, and DPLUS Kia will confidently take round 1.
Yeah, apologies. Also, Dino is, of course, Fish-like. They love their name changes sometimes, the APAC players. So, yeah, I mean, it's the kind of round where if DPLUS aren't switched on, don't have the right utility, there is a chance that the dirt push could have been on for SCARZ. But as soon as that first Vulcan canister pops and you get the Scopos to shell transfer back, you've got to give up on that and just go for whatever is, your plan B. But I wonder with that lineup, did they even really have a plan B? That's a disappointing start for SCARZ. I mean, I always say it when it comes to Basement Clubhouse, you don't need to win it, but you want to be competitive. It certainly wasn't competitive. It's pretty comfortable in the end for DPLUS Kia.
So over to Cache CCTV. And DPLUS, I think they typically do this, bring the castle for the vert hold down below through lounge, try to alleviate some of the pressure that can be generated by the attack, either from directly verting or up the main stairs. And they'll also bring the clash as a second layer of defense. Of course, important to note that the Monty and Grim are banned out, and so Muzi and Garage should have a little bit better of a time defending over towards Rafters, but the Capital is still available, still a good chunk of utility that can be dumped into that position. Roterios as well can have impact, so it's not exactly a free place to contest. The hard breach, they should be pretty free and pretty straightforward, and Ken has already opened up. And chipping away at some of the castle utility down below as well is SCARZ. Unfortunately, that first grenade didn't quite hit the mark. Yeah, I'm intrigued to see how SCARZ look to break this one down, how they ultimately want to deal with the clash as well. That's going to be a tricky part of this defense to deal with. But they've given themselves lots of different routes. I think they've also done a good job investing in to deal with the castle down below as well. Maybe they're eager to activate the Deimos, try and get Rek in a playmaking position. Whether they know it or not as well, Midi in Garage could be quite exposed here. If they can open in through Secret, maybe get a bit of a foothold over towards front door, he could get caught in a crunch. But Washoy, he falls. Nice work there from Midi and untraded.
He needed some help there. He was kind of pinched on the right side of that and was a little bit trapped to the swing of Midi. What they needed to do is have someone on that left side of the opening so that if he did go for the swing, and again, it's the same thing has happened. What's Nina doing there? He's got to help out. Now he's trying to take a 1v1. Finally, they get the pinch pressure coming in from Secret, but Midi's already gotten 2 kills when he shouldn't have even gotten 1. They could have easily gotten some help over to Ashoy. He could have tucked in, get someone on the left side of that. If Midi swings, then you get the kill. And now you got to draw your attention back over towards site. And you still got to deal with this clash. Music just sits Rafters. He hasn't been cleared out. You also wasted one of your flame bolts as well in dealing with Midi. So he's going to... They're not going to be able to clear him here unless Muzi gives his life away.
And Muzi's done a very good job in valuing his life, but eventually does get caught by Fishlike. So 3-3, 30 seconds. Rek has cross. SCARZ don't find themselves in the worst position right now. Falls with double gas, baby. Is that enough to stall out this push?
Yeah, I mean, with 20 seconds, it is when you couple it with the clash. I think it is enough. And they haven't got any presence down below, lounge up through red, so it's all going to be rather direct. Well, hang on. It's now a 1v2, but they're still got to get the kid onto the ground. Levy can play the time a little bit. Rek's been able to reacquire it. Nina is very, very low, trying to play off the pings unsuccessfully because it's planted towards default on the other side of the server rack. That's one down. And Nina is very low. This is so winnable for Levy, and he converts.
Wow.
Yeah, job done.
That's nice. I love the way that he has just immediately sprung into action, no hesitation, has a clear plan. And by doing that and by not messing around, both players who are low on HP get trapped in a position that's readable, that he doesn't allow someone to escape outside or someone to go deep rafters or jump out the vent window, for example. He crunches them into a position that's predictable and readable and able to mow them down. That's a really, really good clutch attempt and conversion. And DPLUS Kia off to a flying start at the moment here on Defense Club.
I think SCARZ did a good job, though, of getting themselves into a winnable position in that round. You know, it was, what, 3v3, 20 seconds left. You mentioned the two gas babes. That should be enough usually to at least delay like a default plant. I mean, it depends on how safe you are in being able to throw those out. But Falls just kind of goes down a little too easily. Right there, Nina just pushes through, finds the kill. And they dealt with Nears on the clash pretty comfortably. The downside was that they had little time, and the players that were left alive were pretty low on health. So it gave Levy a really good opportunity in a 1v2 where he wasn't, you know, totally without a world's chance. It was probably a pretty even 1v2, all things considered. You know, in that situation, if you have one person outside, you know, repel kennels, it's very different because getting the crossover towards the bomb chassis is far more difficult, but they were double stacked together, so he had space to push into CCTV. 2-0 start for DPLUS Kia, though. So far, so good, getting the job done on the defense. And it just means for SCARZ, got to be mindful of the fact that Clubhouse can certainly favor defense, but you need to get at least your 2 rounds. It's the one map where it's like, yeah, you probably have some good opportunities, especially cash and CCTV, but you got to convert, and they didn't on that opportunity. Now Gym Bedroom for DPLUS to go around the world, get a 3-0 start. It is up next.
Keeper strikes true. Barrier deployed.
So the mirror available, and it's going to be exploited this round by DPLUS Kia. One on Jacuzzi and the second follow-up over towards Bathroom. That adds 2 layers of hard breach disruption against this attack. Who elected to just bring the sole primaries on Washoy, but there are secondaries, of course. A plethora of them available across both Breck and Fishlike. Falls tasked with holding this position, has some catch to assist. And so with 1 impact left, he'll be trying to ensure that that lands if additional hard breach is used on the wall, and then the rest of his catch elsewhere. Midi's looking for information over towards Logi and Nears as well, with a bit of a shoulder peek over towards Rafters. He'll forfeit that position, peel back towards the side as the Logic bomb rains out. And so both teams will be pretty content at this point of the round. I think DPLUS Kia, though, for the low risk that they've had to play this round, they've been able to absorb quite a bit of time. That being said, though, a minute's plenty to work with when the entire defense has squeezed back towards the side as opposed to maybe holding Logi or holding in towards Con. I say Logi, but Midi actually is there as well with Nitro. And maybe with his army on site, these ganker positions might not be actually that weak. Nina falls. And DPLUS Kia get the first down.
You can get this res on Nina, but it's going to be a time investment. 40 seconds left in the round, so you haven't got a lot of it. He's dropped parking. Someone will go get the res. I mean, you would imagine someone will go get the res. This is taking a while, and all they've got is cash. That's it. That's the only bit of control inside of the building right now for SCARZ. So they've been completely kept out away from the site. You've still got impacts, not yourself and MIDI, hauling towards logistics. This is going to have to be a red time rush from SCARZ as the logic bomb rings out from UKIS after they got Nina back up. It's Nears that gets the opening kill onto Wishui. MIDI and Levy both fall at the same time, looking for that pressure over towards the balcony with a jump out attempt. UKIS goes down 2v2, 7 seconds. Wreck inside a gym, has to go for the plant behind Waits as Nears, good shot though onto Nina. Wreck then got off kit, no time left, and the round's done. You can just run at him, and Wreck will get off to save the KDs. DPLUS go 3 straight.
DPLUS looking red hot at the moment, and that's even despite SCARZ themselves actually looking pretty sharp. That's now back-to-back rounds where they've been able to fight themselves into a pretty winnable position. I think that their ability to snap there on the execute back in that third round was actually pretty impressive. But yeah, the res absorbed quite a bit of time, and some of those anchor positions proved difficult to deal with as well. The Azami was offering a lot of value. It was definitely a tricky round to try and break down, and DPLUS Kia, with a couple of big individual efforts mechanically, have done a good job here in establishing a good, clean first rotation. And as we enter round number 4, it's the Deimos and the Mirror that are being panned out.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Look at the replays of the previous round. Again, just I think the SCARZ leaving themselves so little time on the clock, and this didn't help either. Having to go and get Nina back up, which just forced your execute time down to the last 20 seconds. They did a decent job, though, to be fair, of actually getting quite a few kills. And at one point, technically it was a 2v4. That's a technicality. I think there's a down player or two, and then again there was only like 10 seconds left in the round. You're scrambling at that
10
point.
seconds to go.
Just DPLUS Kia in good positions, set up very nicely. And we head back to basement. And this is going to be a big test now for SCARZ. You're 3-0 down. They've gone around the world. You're going to get a second opportunity on each of these sites, most likely. And unless you maybe win here, they might repeat. But nevertheless, you've got to get your 2 rounds. You've got 3 opportunities to do so. And there hasn't been a whole lot to show so far right now as to why Clubhouse's and map pick was the right call. They're not breaking through this defense of DPLUS. And last time out, it was the wasted time towards dirt. And this time around, Fishlight goes dirt immediately again. But they have dropped the glass for the Solid Snake.
Kiba successfully deployed.
Yeah, we'll see if that in combination with the Lion Canadian with some intel gathering. They seem pretty eager, though, to again have Fishlight lurking on the blitz over towards dirt. And probably in an attempt to force some of that defense actually back to the site, which isn't inherently the worst idea ever. Still a big investment offsite here from DPLUS Kia. Still Roma's cash kitchen stage. Nia's in a pretty aggressive position over towards kitchen currently. I wonder if SCARZ can catch him. Okay, I don't know what he's doing. That is bamboozling to say the least, but they at least open up the opportunity for the trade, so it's not the end of the world.
I mean, if you're going to lose that early defender, certainly into his army, which is so strong on basement, you've got to get that trade. And Midi's done a good job. He's been so active in the server at the moment. And I love this position. A little late, though, to react. Nina just wide swings it, and Midi just lets him get quite a bit of a gap on the swing. A little late to fire. If you're going to play that aggressive, you know, in a 4v4 basement site clubhouse, a minute left, you could opt to just go back down main stairs. You've got to really hit your shot. But again, another trade. Musi. And that's what DPLUS can do a good job of, is if they lose a player, they'll double down and they'll try and get either the advantage back or to even it back up. 3v3, still the blitz up though for Fishlight. In towards Arsenal along with Wishui. They're the last 2 up now. Balls with a big pick, but he gets traded by the pistol. They've got more time on the clock. This is better. They've got 30 seconds. And that's a lovely shot from Wishui onto Musi, and it leaves Levy now on the 1v2. Coming in from blue. As Fishlight gets off the plant, repositions inside of Arsenal to a safer location away from this church angle of Levy, and the plant will be successful. And he'll immediately get that shield back up in his face. And certainly looks like now SCARZ should be able to find their first attacking round win, unless they absolutely butcher it from here. Trying to find the shoulder shot, which would get the down. Foot shot will do the job as well. Doesn't know where Wishoy is, and walks a little too close to the sun as he's blinded by the shield of the Blitz. SCARZ are on the board.
Yeah, good work from SCARZ. The final portion of the round there was, yeah, really impressive. Doing a good job to get the diffuser safely on the ground. Despite winning the round, SCARZ will actually take their tactical timeout. So, sensing that this is an opportunity probably for them to build a little bit of momentum, maybe try to hit the scoreboard a couple more times in the half, and then sort of make up for a bit of a slow start. They continue to leverage the blitz nicely. I've been enjoying that. I think DPLUS keep probably doing a poorer job that time around in dealing with that. We saw some oddities off the site with Niz getting completely caught out over towards Kitchen, and whilst that was traded, I think it did throw off their structure a little bit. And they were kind of playing on the back foot for the majority of that round, but probably one they can pretty easily chalk down to being some big mistakes that they can correct going forward. Cash and CCTV up next.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to go flawless if you're DPLUS kid, but you'd be a little bit annoyed and concerned that you did give up Church Arsenal, but you have to give the credit to SCARZ. But I also do question a little bit of the philosophy of DPLUS in that round, just a little too aggressive at times, and certainly some of the holds I think were overly aggressive and gave good opportunities for SCARZ to get picks on a basement site, where at times you'll see plenty of teams just opt for a 5-stack down below to give the attacking team absolutely no chance. The downside of that is you then give yourself pretty much no chance of finding an early pick, and usually a pretty high win rate if you can get a 5v4 advantage as the defense. So it has merit to why you would want to play that aggressive style. I just wonder if they over-invested a little bit. And the other factor in all of this is SCARZ's time management was far better. So you get the 1v2 situation, or in their case 2v1, you had 30 seconds. So you're not rushed, you're not rushing around. If it was like 8 seconds to go, well, that could have played out very differently. They just gave themselves some breathing room. And happy to see SCARZ get a little reward for effort, because, yeah, it was a 3-0 start, but they've had good moments.
Yeah, they certainly have. And they find that magical second round, though, in the half, upping the sense for round number 5. And again, uncontested, pretty simple in terms of opening up these exterior hard breach positions. Yeah, I mean, just to know what the thought behind the sense is here, typically it's used for util dump on con side hits, where you can then dash across and get the plan on the table, or in some kind of safer position inside of cache itself, I presume. We'll see something similar here as well. It's probably versatile enough that you can make it work over towards kennels as well, and while Wishoy's currently cooking that up, you can block some of the lines of sight from red or from cache itself. Maybe you can go for a tuck plan. May mean they try and shortcut the garage clear as well, but I feel like that is very high risk, very aggressive. Also, midi down below, he'll need to be contested, otherwise that plant is not going down. Well, util's cooking up here, so SCARZ might be going.
Oh, again. Well, midi is down. They did lose Rec. Midi's been pretty active on the defense so far in this half, largely to a lot of success. I don't think they're going to be able to get him back up, to be honest. Musi probably would want to just sit rafters and not have any risk. I think at this point, Midi's just going to be the live down drone to get some information below rafters for Musi, and that's his role for the next 10 seconds. The seconds that are pretty crucial for SCARZ right now. So 4v4, 45 seconds, and you still haven't cleared out rafters, and Nier still has a nitro cell over towards cache. You got a couple of flashes you can dump into the site along with the Sen's REU, so they can get a way in, but they're pushing in late again with time. Lovely clear though onto Musi. And now they've opened up rafters with the player advantage, and this becomes oh so winnable.
I'm nervous about that Plantanol potential down below, though. 15 seconds. Have SCARZ accounted for it?
Oh, how's that from Nears? Doesn't move a muscle. Just tap, finds the kill onto Fishlike. Traded to sight, and this is where it's a big moment from Levy. Outside, gets the kill through CC window, and nothing that Nina can do as the time expires. It's another round win for DPLUS Kiers. They go 4-1 up.
Yeah, another really good play in the late round. A couple of key positions are held. Really clean shot over towards rafters to disrupt the default plant. SCARZ, I don't know, I think there's an element there of too much fluffing around. When they had really good belt of utils still remaining, they could have made that count, at least consider the tuck plant. They had coverage down below in lounge, and they still never got in any kind of position to force the hand, force that Plantanol out from DPLUS Kia. That was a clean shot. The jump out was well timed. Falls did his job on the back line as well. It's a good half from DPLUS Kia, and it quickly flips into a great half, provided they win this next round.
Yeah, I mean, this is the pivotal round now. It's not make or break. It never is. No game of Siege comes down to a single round, but the difference between a 5-1 and a 4-2 can go such a long way.
10 seconds left.
More map pick as well. So Jim Bedroom, final round of the half. DPLUS has got their set marker 4 round. SCARZ 1 away from their set marker 2. It's been a good contest. I mean, for a 4-1 scoreline, again, the rounds have been pretty lively. They've been pretty close back and forth, certainly in a lot of the early round engagements. Midi started incredibly hot, but they've started to clue on to what he's doing now.
My location is clear. Time to ring some ears.
Yukis is going to go wandering through the map with a strip side entrance.
Heads up, camera.
A really big fucking hole coming right up.
Yeah, the Solid Snake is an interesting addition for the 6th round. Yukis will be pretty eager to try and hit that scoreboard. A little harder, just the one pick for him so far, but he can lurk below and give information at the moment. Probably going to be more useful if and when he can transition up main, give info late round. I don't think he's really expecting to be able to deliver much at this portion of the round. And yeah, clearly the defense all staggered on the 2nd floor at the moment. And so unless there's a drop or a rotation, he's not going to find a lot of value from the radar. Early util belt, minute 40. SCARZ hit the go button.
Yeah, they're going to pick up the pace. It's been a slow pacing half, but it's going to work out for DPLUS in their favor right now. Washui getting the plant down inside of Jim. Hello, up close.
Hello.
Musi gets the knife. He gets the knife kill onto Washui. Traded immediately by Yukis, but it disrupts the attack quite a lot. Yukis getting that trade from below, so no one inside of the building with the kit over towards Jim. That's a big win for DPLUS Kia. They'll be very happy that they've been able to offset that rush attempt by SCARZ. And for SCARZ, when you go for those kind of rushes, usually that's your plan A and your only plan. Your plan B now is to, I don't even know. You got no Candelas left. You've got no real utility. You're going to have to just drone and just hope that you can win your 1v1s. Try and force DPLUS out of sight. Force them out of these tucked in positions.
Yeah. It's going to...
Ooh, that's exactly what you need.
That's another badly calculated play from Nears, unfortunately, that we've captured. Overly aggressive and brings it back to a 3-3. 30 seconds on the clock, and SCARZ. It's still rough from here, but they could pluck it.
Oh, the patience. Oh my goodness, from Rek. He sat waiting at Jacuzzi, hoping they'd forget all about him, and they certainly did. Big play from Rex, steals the round for SCARZ. It should have been 5-1, but a massive play sees SCARZ get the 2nd round at the end of the half.
Honey, I got what you want. Give me all of your love, 'cause it's burning hot. It's what you do to me, babe, I can guarantee. Honey, I got what you need. Under where you wanna go. The things that we can do don't need to prove you know. Honey, I got what you want. Yeah, under the night sky, I want your eyes so on me. Don't tell me no lies. I always get mine. Don't play with me. So do you want it? Do you want it? Can you feel me? Can you feel me now? Can you handle it? Alright. So do you want it?
Alrighty, well, 4-2 at the half in the end. Par for the course for both of these two teams. SCARZ getting a reprieve courtesy of a big play from Rack. He just sat outside balcony of Jacuzzi for, I think, a good 40 seconds. He just kind of kept himself and just waited and waited until someone came to fight at the hallway. Really nicely done from SCARZ to get that last round. Otherwise, they were staring down the barrel of a pretty big deficit. We get the bands Kaid, Mira, Grim, and Thermite. We go basement to begin, and it feels like it's game on now. That was a big round needed for SCARZ, and just resets things a little bit.
Yeah, it certainly helps their cause. DPLUS Kia just having a couple loose moments there, particularly in the last round. That they'll be looking to tidy up. Certainly positive signs though for SCARZ and being able to punish those opportunities and capitalize. They're able to have their key hitters work inside of the server. Basement first up. Big investment in terms of Denari utility, interestingly, here from SCARZ, and so we'll see how impactful that ends up being. Hatches will remain closed. Despite that, it seems like there may be an investment offsite with utility with Rec over towards the second floor position. So we'll see if that's actually going to persist. I doubt it. It's always a little tricky sometimes to read the game plan of SCARZ and how much they want to actually commit offsite. As for DPLUS Kia, they have the solid snake to deal with that. They can horizontal invert with the bark as well, and so I mean, Rec does have kennels reinforced, so if he commits to this position, it's a bit of an all-in play.
I don't think he'll fully commit. Considering they got Washoy over towards Secret, he has the ability to go down red stairs, and yeah, it's pretty much already he's done that. Oh yeah, 5 stack down below for SCARZ. They'll keep it safe, they'll keep it comfortable, not trying to do anything too tricky, and certainly from DPLUS's side, they're not going to go for any dirt shenanigans, so we should get a pretty streamlined default looking basement clubhouse. Midi on the bark will open up over towards bar and kitchen. Another one Nitrocell though for this bunker defense. 3 gas babes from Fishlike will be important later in the round. There are options for DPLUS Kia as well. They can go hatch drop potential with the Candela's Blackbeard. They can get Nears to push either down main or even blue. So I really do like this lineup for DPLUS Kia. The interesting thing for me will be how does Musi play the solid snake in this round?
Yeah, Garrett currently maybe drops oil, lurks, could go secret as well.
Nothing to report in my
I think either would work. Radar will spot 1 blue, 1 dummies. That is a pretty easy relay, but also equally pretty predictable positions. Don't necessarily need the snake for that. And so 60 seconds on the clock, 4 Candelas left. Decent belt of util also as well with the grenades and the flashes from Nears and Mini respectively. And first pick to Musi. Will that open up the round enough here for DPLUS Kia?
Yeah, it's always an interesting philosophy with the solid snake. You know they're going to be there, but you just get that guaranteed information. There is that drop down as well with the Blackbeard from the hatch. Nitrocell doesn't really do enough. Like, it does get Nears low, but he's still going to be in a plant position. Now you got to get up close and personal. Nice little swing though from Washoy to get the kill onto the Blackbeard. Can he get another one? He can. Headshot lands onto Mitty, and it almost got one more. Falls, wins that battle. But it does get taken low. 3v2. Levy's got the cross main stairs and then just caught Nino, who did not even pay attention to his lefts and his rights. He just ran across the hallway, threw his life away, and DPLUS Kia on the attack. Take basement 5-2 now.
Snatching basement is always, a big positive for any attacking team. Big effort. Able to seal the deal there, DPLUS Kia. Not necessarily the sealer for the map just yet, but it puts them in prime position on this first rotation to maybe even get themselves in a position where they can get that map point and then really apply the blowtorch to SCARZ, who it feels like are being outmatched slightly at the moment. And as we painted the picture during the map veto, honestly, Lair is very, very scary. And I don't really see their fortune changing around dramatically on that second map. Something not impossible, but I really don't foresee SCARZ showing more fight on that second map compared here to Club. So we'll see if they can tidy things up now onto the tertiary, and then they can reattempt basement if required. They'll hide the clash this round. Try to get value from Fishlike, who's actually had a pretty good day today. And in terms of numbers overall, it's actually pretty consistent. Even a more consistent band compared to what we would typically see from them in terms of that spread.
Attackers are moving to defuse the bomb.
So let's see how it goes. On the side of DPLUS, they'll actually bring the Kali into play this round and the Mavericks. So a couple of interesting pocket picks on this occasion with the Thermite band out. And I'll bring the Reteros as well on the Flores to help counter these army.
It just kind of undoes a little bit of the good work to close the first half as well for SCARZ. It's almost as if it was a 5-1 half. So they're back on the back foot now. And a confidence builder too for DPLUS to get that first attacking round. I like Fishlike on the clash though. Very good shield player. You know, you got the one and only Nitrocell. Got to make the most of it and gets nothing from it. You have to miss early on in the round for SCARZ. Balls, like nothing's happened. Back to work with the blowtorch on the Maverick.
Sounds like Midi's been able to get pretty good value from the Flores this round. Last Rotero out and deployed. So hopefully, for his sake,
oh, hello.
These armies being counted. Yeah, hello. Clash on the side through con. Oh, did they try to bring the Kali in here as a counter combo? Go for the double punch. It could work. It's pretty volatile. It's not super consistent. I think they'll just try and keep the clash at bay for now. It's a double stack outside the site as well in the meantime. And Midi may be in a position to probe up main.
Good swing from Nina.
Decent trade. Yep.
Gets rid of the Kali. His did find a kill onto Wreck, but I think getting rid of the Kali from that balcony is a good result for SCARZ. A little bit more of a safety blanket as well for Fishlike. Yuki is ready to swing. They know they're getting pressured up top main stairs. Midi down. That was a bit of a non-contest for Midi and didn't really have a lot of help either. Nears is more so concerned about Jim. And there's not much you can do though with the clash. And so far, Fishlike has been quite a nuisance for the attack of DPLUS Kiev. Midi's crawled his way all the way outside towards Jacuzzi. Nears will step back in towards top main stairs. Notice one in Logi. Levy losing his life to Nina means that for SCARZ, now they're in the best position to win this round.
So 20 seconds on the clock. Midi low, stranded, falls as well, buying his time outside. They were so reliant on that kill over towards Logi, but it doesn't quite land. And SCARZ, they've done a good job to hold out this round. Falls has made his way into the building, and he does find two. But not going to get too excited as he's forced to go for the plant. Straight on cam. SCARZ lock it out. And a better defense there over towards bedroom.
Yeah, much better. Much better from SCARZ. And I think, again, it's been quite competitive. I mean, there's not too much separating these two teams. I think DPLUS at times have shown certainly a couple of weaknesses where they're over-investing or they're getting caught from some aggression from SCARZ in sort of untimely situations where they're maybe not expecting it. Yeah, Musi on the balcony just gets completely caught unaware of a potential swing from the bedroom window. DPLUS will know this is not going to be an easy half to close out, and they haven't really got anyone. Well, there's no one really inside of the server that's ultra dominating either. Yeah, the highest KDs are 8 kills for Midi and 8 for Musi. But Midi's 8 and 8, Musi's 8-5. And then there's also no one under fragging. Everyone's at a minimum 5 kills. Like it is an incredibly even game when you look at these metrics, but it's a 5-3 scoreline. So there's just been a couple of rounds where maybe SCARZ have not been able to close out, or DPLUS have stolen one, and that's about it. There's not a lot of difference. So if you're SCARZ right now thinking, well, we're on defense here, we play this round out, make it 5-4, we take a ban away from them, maybe we get rid of the Blackbeard, force them onto maybe a more passive Monty, and we could really still take this map. They're in this game well and truly, but it's close enough. DPLUS could just run away with it if they just switch on for 2 rounds and play to their very, very best.
Well, Shoy probing over towards Pigeon. This is pretty high risk for the smoke to be playing. He's also been droned out, and instead of backing away, he's going to double down.
Reload.
So we'll see if that pays off, but yeah, certainly a risk from him. Elsewhere again, Mav in play, and Nina with the lineup Nitro. We'll see if he's able to make this one count.
Yeah,
Bang,
lovely.
Perfect. That's why we don't really see a whole lot of Mav play these days. He's quite vulnerable. Good jump out. Okay. I'm liking this from SCARZ at the moment, but DPLUS Kia are fighting back. Midi has been so strong in the frag department today, outside of his leadership skill qualities as well, but he's been so impactful on the scoreboard. He's really taking charge. Play hard left. Nina in the tuck. Is it cleared by DPLUS Kia? Yes. Maybe. No.
Oh, he's got to get that one. Completely caught Niers off guard. Got the guard break, but just couldn't connect the shots enough. Niers gets a little bit of a fright, but he gets away with his life intact. Nina, what a shot though onto Levy. Levy just went for the peak, but I don't think he was ever prepared to really shoot. The SCARZ now on the verge of picking up their 4th round. Good shot though from Niers. I don't think Rek was expecting him to just be holding the angle with the gun up. Maybe was expecting the Blackbeard with the shield up. Still a lot of time in this round. 50 seconds for a 2v2. And then Nina just catches the side of Niers. The Blackbeard goes down. Midi knows where Yukiz is, but doesn't quite know where Nina is. Gets a bit of an idea, though, with that shot that just rings by. Trapped in the corner. Great headshot onto Yukiz. 30 seconds of the 1v1. But Nina repositions beautifully. 5-4 as SCARZ are bringing it back here on Clubhouse.
Yeah, good work there from SCARZ. Able to just hold on in what was a pretty decent clutch attempt. Now trailing by 1 round, 5-4 the scoreline. Additional bans now to come into play for what is shaped up to be a very close competitive Clubhouse so far. DPLUS Kia unable to run away with it. It's the Bandit to accompany the Kaid as Wall Denial benched, and then the Ying also dealt with back down to basement, which DPLUS Kia were surprisingly able to win out last attempt.
It just feels like they got the momentum now. 2 rounds in a row. And what's been working for them is they're happy to play the trade game. They're happy to play into the gun skill department against DPLUS Kia, not overthink things. They're happy to swing, take gunfights. The DPLUS just need to be a little bit more aware of that, a little bit more switched on when they're getting, close to the site. That SCARZ like to be active. They like to swing. They like to get in your face. They're not just going to sit back, play the default defensive positions. I say that, and last time on this side of basement, they very much did. They just kind of kept it 5 on site. I'm curious to see just how aggressive Rek will choose to get on the Scopos. Sometimes it really is a case of just, can you get a couple of drones and then transfer back? Don't have to overinvest. But the way he's shaping up towards Rafters right now is he'll at least deny a little bit of this map space. You've got Yuki's towards Lounge and then Nina's Cash. So, I mean, that's 3 players that are pretty invested in this area of the map. Again, very easy to rotate back down Secret and get to site and into position. So just because they're there now, I mean, it takes about 5 seconds and they're all back to site.
Well, they're not all back to site. And we'll see if Nina's able to have impact over towards Logi. In a position where if he hits the timing, it can be impactful. And Levy on the snake with radars all the way down in basement. So Nina's position should be pretty unsighted and unheard. Outside of maybe the logic bomb from Nears, which will refresh in a moment. This attack is, though, in closing over towards blue side. Midpoint of the round. Nears finds the first.
And Nina's still Logi. And that's a... Oh, wow. Okay, well, Levy's very unfortunate to not win that battle. What a shot from Fishlike. Again, Nina's still Logi, and it's a 3v3. So they've done all of this without Nina. He'll get to go for a late flank, but he needs to make sure it's not too late, because the plant is going down at the moment. And it looks like it will actually be a successful plant. And the cover was there as well to help out Falls from Kitchen. That was Musi with the shots from above. He caught Nina as well, who was rotating, so he was quick to flick around and catch him in the hallway. So SCARZ have given up basement again. That's been the determining factor here on Clubhouse. Is this basement site that DPLUS Kia just continued to win and have now got 2 map points?
It's going to be a bitter pill to swallow for SCARZ if map 2 doesn't go their way, and the determining factor of the first map of Club is not being able to successfully defend that basement site. Again, it's never a given. Sites never are in Siege, but it's certainly going to be winning it on at least one occasion if you want to look competitive on a map. That is bitterly disappointing for them.
Attackers need to locate
Now it's about a recovery effort on Bedroom, and then I suppose puts them in an awkward position if they are going to decide whether to reattempt that or not. Again, for context, over the last couple of weeks, Basement Clubhouse has been 51% in favor of attack. I mean, pretty much 50-50 across the board. So again, you've got to be taking one of those home. The fact that DPLUS K have been able to break it down both times, and pretty convincingly on both occasions as well, mind you, is ought to be frustrating for SCARZ, and it could result in a bit of a boil over here.
10 seconds left. 5 seconds to go.
Well, SCARZ have shown the ability to win 2 rounds in a row back in rounds 8 and 9.
Moving to defuse the bomb.
In Bedroom, Cash and CCTV. They'll have to replicate that now. And on arguably those 2 sites, I just don't see them going back to basement for the remainder of this half. And it's been a really entertaining match. As I said, it's been very competitive. Multiple clutches, a lot of 3Ks apiece. Both teams have been able to successfully get at least one plant down in their respective attacking halves. This has definitely been one factor, though, that SCARZ have been pretty good at with the Nitrocell usage. And the biggest concern is for SCARZ, the opening kill department. They've only picked up 2 opening kills this entire match.
DPLUS also historically have a very high conversion rate when it comes to opening kills. I think it's at 92%, the last info I got heading to this game for kickoff, so very rarely do they lose after finding that opening pick, and it's been a strength for them in some of these key rounds. Fishlike targeted on the Azami as Nina postures for a peek outside. All of this comes down to timing. He's being watched from Kennels, though. DPLUS Kia are trying their best to be patient. Levy, does he land the shot?
Can't be too patient for too long, though. There's a minute 15 left in the round. He's still got a bit of work to do over towards the side as well.
Frag out.
I mean, Levy can sit here as long as the other four are active and you know, kind of getting to work. But yeah, 60 seconds left, and they're starting to rotate towards this jacuzzi position. Nina, I mean, Levy can pretty much sit here the whole time. He's going to expect at some point maybe for someone to rotate to that CC window, and he'll be ready for it. Rat gets the kill onto Midi. Levy is still holding Kennels. He's finally going on up, and he'll look to push in from that Kennels position. Oh, Musi wins the battle below against Nina. Anticipating potential Nitrocell up through the hatch. Big kill from Washoy, low on health inside a bedroom. Needed that kill for SCARZ heading into the last 30 seconds. Still time for DPLUS. A 1-for-1 trade. Lovely vault in though from Musi. Leaves it down to Yukiz. And there's still time here for Musi and Falls to navigate the end of this round. If they want to go for the plant, they can. He's cut off towards construction. As Falls has navigated over towards Jim now, he'll have to start thinking about the plant Musi will cover. As the smoke dissipates, Yukiz at the doorway. Musi in a great tucked in position, catches him off guard up close, and DPLUS Kia will steal the map pick of SCARZ. A hot and heavy battle on Clubhouse, but it's the Brazilians representing the Korean organization that will take the first map.
They've come out windmilling like an Englishman looking for a scrap. But talking of a scrap, Pino!
If he goes uncontested and the kick goes cold, that'll be devastating. The grenade goes through, that's the swing! Cyber and Bullet are able to get one apiece with the kit so far away, and Canadian down upstairs. Cyber, wow, that was special.
It's a 1 versus 3 to hold, and they're pushing him from behind. He's found one. He's got to get the vertical as well. They get pulled off him. We're down to the last 3 and 4 seconds. Ryder's got another. He's held on. He's going to do it. And PSG take the 2-1 win.
Both players spotted, but the res can be made successfully.
Oh! Got another one for Solotov. Information from the bees. It goes in. Shotgun. W7s! They cement themselves as one of the greatest of all time.
He's starting to get cooked alive, Ollie, but he's using the stim pistols. Look at this from the dock. Surely not. Brilliant! That's play of the year in my book. Plays the game, hits the old body, doesn't quite catch it. There's the impact.
He gets it!
There's the dash! He doesn't have the concentration! He's going back, he's not quite sure. He only has a few seconds. Stick it, Ness! Stick it!
This is an angle that he might be able to contest. No, unfortunately, he takes just a bit of damage there. A walk, I guess, the second one. Eclipse, though, will get one, turning it into a 2v2. Now they push it on the side. The Bandit will lose out on this. Eclipse, the last alive on the Ella. Spots the head and takes him down. The ace for Waka.
He will down BC. Canadian positioning to pick up, but that's going to result in a double nade from Vertical. That's 4 for him in the round. Necroc's the final defender against Vertical. The ace, absolute domination.
You believe in magic, Michael. Team 1 does as they win the Mexico Major.
Well, DPLUS Kia are one map away from the lower bracket final next week against Kenotrope as they take the map pick of SCARZ on Clubhouse. And look, it was a hotly contested one, a little bit back and forth. The one dominating factor certainly was the opening kill department, 9-2 in favor of DPLUS Kia. A lot of the rounds, though, were actually incredibly close. And you can make the argument that, yeah, maybe on a different day, SCARZ could have actually won this map had they just been maybe a little sharper and a little cleaner. It kind of just came down to maybe even the first 3 rounds. DPLUS shot out of the gates. They got out to a 3-0 lead. From that moment on, it was back and forth, maybe even slightly edging in favor of SCARZ.
Yeah, sure. I think I largely agree with that. A big determining factor, though, ended up being that in that second half, back-to-back basement attacking round wins for DPLUS Kia. And you never want to filter a win all the way down to just maybe a round or two or a specific side or whatever, but it really did feel like a big difference maker in this matchup where typically the standard is for defense to win at least one of those attempts with the falter on both occasions. And if my memory serves me correctly, they were both pretty convincing. Yeah, 3 players alive on both of those attacks. Ended up splitting hairs in the end, 7-4 victory. And the second map of Lair, we've pitched it as being very strong for DPLUS Kia, and the path forward now for SCARZ, and their time here in kickoff now looks like it may be expiring.
I mean, we'll see. Anything can happen going into this next map of Lair, but what we do know is it's a map the DPLUS have got a lot of history on. Every single series so far at kickoff, this map has featured for DPLUS, and well, they've only lost it once, which was to CAG, who of course are sitting in the grand final for good reason. They're a quality outfit. They counter-stratted DPLUS well and truly, but just because they did doesn't mean SCARZ have the ability to do the same as well. Big test now for SCARZ. They do get to begin on the defense of Lair, which may aid them, but for Can You Be My Enemy, well, they gave up a 5-1 first half to DPLUS when DPLUS were on the attack. For Help Us LFO, it was a 6-0 on defense, so therefore not even being tested on DPLUS's attack either. So, I mean, I think what we're going to look at in this is just, again, will we see the same competitiveness that we saw in Clubhouse? It was 7-4, it was close, a bit back and forth. I just need to see that from SCARZ, and if they can string together a couple of rounds, you've got to be winning your Master and R6s on defense. That should be at least 2 rounds in the bank. Win basement at least once. There's 3. Can you get to that 3 or 4 round mark in this first half, and you might have a shot.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
So it's Kaid Bandit alongside Grim and Ying to be banned out. So similarly to Clubhouse, we're going to see the Hard Breach excel here, and then a lot of the late rounds going to come down to displacement, clearing utility, etc. Top floor especially. We're going to have to see how DPLUS Kia's endgame is tested with both the smoke and the Tachanka up. Default plants are a rarity. They certainly come at a premium. You have to typically work very hard to kill at least one of the smoke or the Tachanka, and typically that's going to be very, very hard. So we'll see how they go about approaching this site. Now, the inclusion of the Zofia is quite intriguing, and I do wonder if that's for some kind of additional utility clearance in combination with the Ash. For the side of defense for SCARZ, again, I'm somewhat concerned about their depth here on this map of Lair. Do they have what it takes to bite back in this series? And we've only seen them play this map once, and that's data dating all the way back to October last year. Just the one appearance. They haven't banned it themselves, though. Typically banned against them. So, we'll see. That last result, of course, was 3 weeks ago. A confident win over FearX. How much you want to put into that? Wait and see. It was a 7-2 victory. And they'll be looking to replicate something similar here today.
And it's all on the line as well for SCARZ now as they come into this map. Now, the pressure is going to be high. They're a really good organization, good team. This is the big test, though. They would maybe feel as if Kenotrope could be gettable. And that was a 2-1 series where they lost it last time, but it was a close series. So they would maybe feel as if we can just get past DPLUS, that spot in the grand final, and we know we could catch CAG on one of their bad days. So far, proving to get past DPLUS proves to be tricky.
Okay.
But Rek with the opening kill onto Nears.
I think that's the third. I don't want to negatively highlight too much, but Nears has had some very, very poor moments over the course of this series today. I don't know what's going on. Some strange moments of play that typically actually is very, very good. Maybe just sensing that someone has to make a bit of a Hail Mary play. Somebody needs to try and find an opening. We don't really have enough going elsewhere, so he kind of steps up and says, all right, I'll take the...
I mean, he's 5-1 on entry. I wouldn't be too harsh
His
on
entry
him.
his entry has been okay, but there's also been about 3-4 moments where he's just done some of the worst plays we've seen inside the 7 today. So I don't know what's going on there, but... Anyway.
Doesn't help in a shot like this, but Falls will make up for it by getting rid of Rek. And they're straight into Master now. They can actually push in. The Shamika launches to try and block off the push from Mezzanine. Would delay a little bit. But Falls can continue to push forward, and now the path is opened up, but the right side angle was still there for the defense. Falls gets another one. And he's only got Midi left for company, but Midi is a great player to have in terms of still being alive, and Yukiz will shut down the rampaging Falls. And Midi has 10 seconds to find 3. Lovely little pre-fire check swing from Nina, and SCARZ are on the board as they take Master and R6.
Yeah, better clear overall there. Kick-started by finding the opener and not allowing the sneak in through sight from the Zofia. Eventually, the pressure did begin to compound a little bit from the exterior breach, but again, they had enough util that they could play off. It was pretty straightforward. Able to hit the scoreboard, and they'll be pretty pleased with opening their account. But again, top floor defense, you want to be closing that round out naturally anyway, and that specific site. As we go down below for round number 2, Scopos, an intriguing addition here. So Yukiz is being given the license to probably lurk around on that first floor position, then can pivot back onto the second shell on site. And then in terms of that on-site hold, it's actually very trap/stall heavy. When you have the Denari and the Goyo combination, that can stall out and waste quite a bit of time in utility. You have Washoi as well, who may play the Yokais actively above to an extent, and then can have a couple positioned down below basement as well. And then in combination with the smoke as well, there's a lot of good stall on offer here from SCARZ. DPLUS on the flip side, they'll be looking to exploit map clearance. They've got the Deimos and the Blitz to facilitate that. And then maybe late round they can try to cook up something unique here. The Rayora in play. We've seen limited Rayora today. Probably anticipated a little bit more. But I think teams are going to have to probably have a bit more time with her to, yeah, really exploit her new state.
I mean, I really do like this lineup for SCARZ, so they can just bank on the fact that DPLUS will take a little too long on their clear above. You know, get down to basement with maybe 30, 40 seconds for the execute, but then you got to deal with gas babes, the Yokais. Have you cleared all the Vulcan canisters, tripwire connectors? And this is actually really smart from Rek. He's kept 2 of them in pocket because he knows it's going to take a while for the clear. Don't want to give them up freely and then place them late in the round that they're still going to be active. And certainly place them in the right positions as to where DPLUS are going to be attacking from. Comes with that the risk, of course. If he dies, well, they don't get used, but you're not really ever going to be in a position where if you're pretty much sitting basement here on lair to die. 90 seconds in the round, and I think so far SCARZ will be very happy with the way this round's playing out. This would be going to their plan.
Well, Rek draws first blood, Midi falls. So that's back-to-back opening kills for SCARZ. Successful conversion last round. They'll be looking to find the same here. Yukiz is still above in the second floor flank position. See if he's able to make this count. Could find a timing.
Oh, he's going to get one here for... Oh, it's being watched.
4.
Well, Levy just kind of hesitated on that swing a little bit. If he had just fully committed, I think he gets that kill onto Yukiz. Yukiz can transfer if he wants, but I think he may actually just enjoy the fact that he can actually push him from behind. 30 seconds left, and the push coming through down from DPLUS Kia. 4v4. Yukiz still on that first floor. Levy as well over towards Armory. Music can't quite hit the headshot onto Nina. Yukiz does go down to Levy, so he wins the battle towards Armory. As the plant going down from Falls. They lose Music. Plant will be successful.
Ooh, down.
The Yokai a little bit delayed. Falls has been down close by to the kit. Niers and Levy versus Nina and Washoy. Washoy trying to find some information with the Yokai. Nina watching above. Of course, that's where both Niers and Levy are located, on that first floor. You've got to go for the retake and do so quickly.
No, they can't.
And they haven't really done
hesitated. They've taken way too long trying to find information, so they'll play the low percentage of sticking down below and covering. Not going to work.
And Levy will win his battle against Nina and then get the second onto Washoy as DPLUS Kia are on the board. Yeah, I mean, a really solid attack from DPLUS Kia, but you have to kind of beg the question that the Yokai burst too late. If that denies plant, we saw that Falls went down pretty quickly thereafter. It would have been a whole different round. And then the hesitation in the post plant by not going for the retake up above.
Yeah, I think
So,
the order of
small
prioritization that round, again, yeah, it was small margins, but it was a little bit off. You heard the end of that Yokai as we picked up, falls down on the ground, and then Nina was low, so he's hesitating, and Washoy's made the call or find info. They had their time again. I think you just send them up above. Nina plays bait. Washoy can try and trade it back to a 1v1, and then you take the coin flip at that point, but that wasn't the case. Not meant to be. DPLUS Kia able to grind their way through round number 2. And now it's time for the tertiary over towards Dorms, which can sometimes be a defining factor as to how this match, or how this map rather, can play out.
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb. 10 seconds left before insertion.
I think Yuki has played that well on the Scopots, and it's a very fun operator in terms of the decision making that you have as a team, and certainly as the operator. But you know, it's kind of like, well, he didn't get cleared. He's left up above so he can play the pinch. But then if they do try to clear him, it wastes time, and they don't get the kill. He can then transfer back down below. So it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't. If played right, you know, if you're not unable to get the kill, or if you're unable to watch the flank. But they ended up watching the flank. That was the difference. And that's kind of what halted him from having impact in that round. And then Levy wins the 1v1. Big Nitro from Rek. That's 3 straight opening kills from Rek, by the way. All 3 of his kills have been opening. And then nothing thereafter. And it's on to Music. Music's been shut down here to begin on Lair. We know how good he's been as a player since joining this roster. He's not been able to get going.
Nitro Cell. Oh, that's unfortunate for Levy. That one has had quite the range on it there. And so this attack is fallen apart entirely for DPLUS Kia, which is a big, big boost for SCARZ on this site, unless there's a fight back on offer. Midi does isolate Washoy. Still though, 3-1 split, control above for the defense. DPLUS Kia with these util belt can't go direct. The vert will shred them. And they need to clear second floor. And so they will commit. Need to leverage the Blackbeard here. Okay.
Ooh, clean shot.
Good trade. 2-2.
And getting rid of the race of Limb Shell too as well. Not bad in that little moment. Still a minute. So if Midi and Falls want, they can kind of dictate the last 60 seconds. Try and find some information. Force Nina and Fish like down below. I think if you possibly can you get the 2-on-1 pinch on one of these 2 defenders now? That's going to be the goal, whether it be first floor site, whether that be second. Interesting, Nina's gone back up, so they're going to try and play the denial, where DPLUS are actually going to try and see if they can get the plant down. Now, the win con here for DPLUS is really, if you can just successfully get that plant down, keep 2 players up, you probably go on and win this round, because it forces SCARZ then have to play into the drop. And so far, Nina, and what I was going to say, I thought they gave them maybe the plant, but it just got denied at the last second. Mini will capture it. He's got 20 seconds. We'll go for a rotate away, and Fishlike's going to hope he can deny from above.
Midi trying to play mind games. One fake. Can Fishlike find the
should
angle?
Be easy. Midi gets off it again. Flash does nothing into the warden glasses, which have been activated. It does just kind of maybe disorientate him in terms of where Midi is planting in terms of sound cue, but Fishlike does not get disorientated. Plays that perfectly. And there was so little time remaining. I think, I'm going to be honest, Midi's probably overcooked that ever so slightly. You can tell what he's trying to do, and he's doing a great job. But just ever, that's one of the earlier points you got to commit. Left it too late.
Yeah, I think his end goal is there to try and force the drop, at least on the first few attempts. But Fishlike remained composed, didn't fall into that trap, and so SCARZ, sure, it came down to a 1 versus 1, but a lot of the groundwork there on the tertiary side was actually pretty clean in dealing with the early portion of that push. Muzi fell first, Levy followed on Rappel. They leveraged the Blackbeard pretty well at this point of the round, minute 20 remaining. And then Midi trying his absolute hardest to force Fishlike down, and well, Fishlike eventually did take the bait. But he was able to quite easily get that final kill and win the round for SCARZ. That's the first rotation complete. Tachenka banned out alongside Damer, so that opens up the default site now a little more for the attack. And we'll see if DPLUS Kia can find success this time around.
Well, either way, it's been a good start for SCARZ compared to the opening 3 rounds in Clubhouse, where they gave up the first 3 rounds to DPLUS Kia, but they were attacking in that first half on Club, and now they're defending here on Lair, so it's hard to really use it as a full-blown comparison point. But so I think starting defense here on Lair was always going to be really big for them, just to get off to a good start, get some rounds on the board, force DPLUS to have to really think their way through this first half. Now, DPLUS probably only need the 2 attacking rounds, if we're being honest, but you know, so far, again, the competitiveness of SCARZ that we saw in Clubhouse has certainly translated into Lair as well. They've been very good. 3 from 3 in terms of opening kills as well, all from Wreck. There he is on picture.
So ops control now for DPLUS Kia. Again, expectation being probably and default with the Tachenka ban. That's the most logical game plan. In the meantime, Muzi has got a foothold main stairs as well. Somewhat conscious of the flank, but as we can see, it's all second floor for SCARZ. Patience at the moment. You can see the plan here from DPLUS Kia, maybe trying to bait the flank attempt in from the defense, but SCARZ not biting just yet. Nina did drop below security, so keep that in mind. If he can make his move at the right time, it could be devastating, but if DPLUS Kia are disciplined on flank watch, then it's difficult to foresee him having much of an impact. Time ticking though, and I think for SCARZ, that's probably their best win condition at this point, but there's Rek, he does get caught.
Well, it's 4 from 4 in the opening engagements, but the bad news is this time it was an opening death. Core opens up now. Mez control is there for DPLUS Kia. They can start to kind of keep SCARZ towards the back of the site. Oh, what is Washui doing? And funnily enough, it's Nears that gets the freebie. It's those kind of moments that Nears has had at times. This time he's on the right side of it. And now into Mars, they can get the plant down. Force the gas babes out nice and early. Reposition from balls. Yukis does get one onto Midi, but the plant will be successful, so it's irrelevant. Now you're in a 3v4 post-plant retake. The gas babe a little too late from Fishlake. It's already down. And the timer goes yellow. And it does have a Nitrocell over towards blue stairs now through Armory, but the time is ticking. SCARZ are going to get on the move.
Time is ticking. Big disadvantage, and Levy cuts off Yukis. There's no way The SCARZ come out to win this round. Flames on the diffuser, prone position for Nears.
Big round from Nears, holy.
And yeah, he really turned it on. I think it may have been Falls that I called out previously. I definitely was actually talking about Nears in terms of some of the weird moments that he's had over the course of this series. But that's a big, positive.
No, you definitely said Nears.
Okay, there you go. All right, so I definitely didn't mistake it earlier, but I was right. He's had some strange moments today. But that one's strange for all the right reasons.
Yeah, I think a couple of strange moments here or there, but largely has been very, very good outside of those strange moments. And we saw that back on Clubhouse with 5-1 on the entries. And I think that's just kind of where his game has been, is like on the line, where it's like it can be great when it's great, and when it's bad, it looks quite bad. But I think sometimes you want that on the team, and just because you can get rounds like that from Niz. Huge round. And especially on that top floor, like just getting that pick onto Rec, gets rid of the Azami, who's playing that more forward space. It's one of the most important roles on that site. You're just kind of blocking off that Mez doorway position. You get a little bit of vision over towards Mask. And as soon as you get that pick, everyone else on the defense is just so far back and can't really then deny the plant from going down. Well, there's the 2 rounds for DPLUS here on the attack of Flair already acquired. Big helping hand from Nears with the 4 kills. And now they get kind of 2 free punches here at SCARZ.
Yeah, certainly so. I think DPLUS will feel like they're in a good position at the moment, but they'll want to convert this. Easy with the low entry over towards weapons side. Quickly try and get control and open up hatches with secondary card breach, and he'll do just that. As for the defense, it's a 4-1 split. The Scopos left to his own devices. That's Yuki's top floor storage hall. And the rest of that defense down towards basement.
And the more and more that DPLUS can put scoreboard pressure on SCARZ, the more likely they'll eventually just kind of fold with so much on the line. Interesting Rotera just to force Fish like a little bit back up the stairs, but his gas bait was still active. And Wishoy will be the one to watch in the Echo this time. Last time out, just wasn't able to get the Yokai burst, used in time, and the plant was successful, but they did still win the round. DPLUS won the round because of that. And it's Midi that gets the opening kill. Falls battling very nicely against Fishlake. That's not an easy fight to win when you're going up against a Smoke who's playing the close angle with the shotgun. Even if you are on the blitz, you got to make sure you hit that flash perfectly, pull the pistol out, time it all. It's a wonderful kill from Falls, who's been very good this series. 60 seconds, 2-player advantage for DPLUS, but Rec gets involved. He's been their best so far on Lair. And just then, okay, back to a winnable position still for SCARZ. Needed that one before they eventually would have got flooded and outnumbered.
Yeah, 45 falls with Kit. Filtration side hit. Bit of vert now being established by DPLUS. Flash layering as well. Falls will likely just go for the turtle plant immediately in the doorway. Impact awaiting for Rec. This is a big moment if he can land this.
He can't see anything though. Just desperately throws out an impact and hope and pray. Again, no success from the Echo. Plant will be successful. Big kill though onto Musi to clear out his position. Yuki's up close hollow. It's the blitz, but it's a bit of help from Wishoy. That's some lovely cover, and SCARZ need to get the next 2 kills quickly, and we're back in his position again with Yukis and Wishoy not going up above. Wishoy this time though actually figured it out. We have to clear above. Yukis has stayed below. He gets caught in the hallway, and that's going to be it. They didn't learn from last time, Guz.
Nah.
Oh no.
Like it's always tough. I actually think that regardless, that they probably lose that. DPLUS had really strong angles and positions there up above in anticipation. Like they're ready and waiting. They're like, guys, where are you? You're not gonna win it down below. You're gonna come up and fight us. And ultimately, there's a bit of half-cooked effort there from SCARZ. And so DPLUS Kia again. They win out down below on basement. They've ticked off the 1 of 2 attempts on Master. Like, this has been a strong attacking half from them at the moment. Even from some of these challenging positions, they're still finding win cons. And they're still finding plants as well, which I think they should be commended for. And ever since Breck's come off that heater in terms of the opening kill metric, of course, first 3 rounds went his way. Maybe that's just disrupting this SCARZ structure a little bit, and the scoreboard's beginning to reflect that if there's a world in which DPLUS Kia can top this off with a top 4 win, they are in such a commanding position.
Oh, I mean, I think they're already in a good position. You win this round, go 4-2 in the second half, switching to defense. Yeah, commanding position well and truly. This is the must-win round now for SCARZ. It backs up against the wall, cannot allow DPLUS Kia to get a 2-round advantage heading into their own defensive half, where they've been very, very good on this map. And what's interesting as well is DPLUS Kia winning this half, and Musi still hasn't found a kill. He's gotten a couple of assists, he's been active, but yeah, he's been one of their best players since joining this roster and hasn't found a kill yet. They're still beating out SCARZ, who are getting quite a bit from Rec, and everyone is performing at a pretty similar level. Fishlike's had some good moments. And SCARZ were 2-1 up, and DPLUS have now just gone back-to-back round wins. As Nears will just kind of look at Fishlike for a little bit.
And so Fishlike will retreat. Pretty calculated decision. If he hangs around too much longer, he's susceptible to quite a lot of utility from the attack, and he's better served having the shield available late round. Levy, in the meantime, he's got control bathroom. In the face of the clash, though, it's tricky for him to make progress without assistance elsewhere. So he'll just posture for now. Playing quite established. I'm intrigued in Nir's choice of position here on the Glaz. He could lay a utility and actually try and unlock this position by pushing forward through the smokes. Could even hold the cross a little more passively in terms of plant denial here. It doesn't feel like DPLUS Kia are too far away from tempting plan, or at least drawing out utility. Still 3 gas babes up and a nitro, so it shouldn't be a straightforward plan.
So final minute of the half. Fishlike doing his best, dancing around on the clash. Rec gets the opening kill, and he gets a second as well to double down the advantage. He's probably been their best and certainly most impactful in this half for SCARZ. They do lose Nina. DPLUS Kia still need to get past this clash, but Levy allowed to swing in and get the kill onto Rec. Not much that Fishlike could do to really help. He needed to keep the shield up. And Falls steps in towards Mask, gives it a little bit of a look, but he gets downed. They can get this revived. Oh, huge nitro though from Wishoy. And that should solidify the round. Musi yet to find a kill this half. Can he get at least one on the board? Slips in towards Mask, expecting that Fishlike will maybe peek it, but Fishlike is composed. He doesn't need to go past that shield. SCARZ will tie it up at the half. It will be 3-3. But is that going to be enough for them heading into the second half? Musi desperately searching for his first. He won't find it. All tied at the half. 3-3. DPLUS will go defense after the role swap timeout. It's the calm before the storm, as SCARZ were at the very least able to close the half out on a winning note, but it's going to be difficult times ahead. DPLUS go defense. They're 4 rounds away from progressing to the lower bracket final. As the bands come through, it's Monty, Grim, Kaid, and Bandit. And Bunk's briefing first up.
I was wondering where you were going with that, and then I spotted the objective. Yeah, I mean, not the most absurd selection ever. And DPLUS K may be trying to just catch SCARZ off kilter a little bit without having the opportunity elsewhere in the sort of the free punch. Maybe that top floor can deliver sometimes for the attack to sort of just get into a little bit of the swing of things. You kind of get thrown into the deep end where you need to deliver here first attack straight off the rip. We'll see how SCARZ look to approach it, what kind of operators they want to bring. The bans, of course, to note Monty, Grim, Kaid, Bandit, so leaves up the Capital, which is initially selected. We probably might see some sense play here from SCARZ. It's really just dependent on what kind of approach they want to go for themselves. They've definitely got some good drones, one in particular actually inside of briefing, so they have that read, and they've changed their ops as a result. The sense in play, gridlock as well for a bit of flank watch up above in combination with the Nomad as well.
A real statement for SCARZ would be probably winning top floor. So maybe there's a sense of let's not give them that opportunity to, you know, get off to a good start. 1-for-1 trade, and most importantly though, it's the it's the hard breach for the clash. I'd say you probably want the clash a little bit more, and his has certainly been impactful, but yeah, loses his life early on in this round. Fishlake himself has also been, you know, very prominent for SCARZ, so that's a big loss for them. So we'll play out the rest of this round 4v4.
Yeah, we'll see how many issues they encounter without that hard breach. I don't think it's the end of the world. Dealing with the clash is probably going to be more of a relief for SCARZ. Midi down below giving some really good info as to Nina's position currently on that rappel and some of the util that's being deployed up above. Meanwhile on site, Levy will lock that down and Midi's rotated down below barrels as we saw him previously. It leaves just the two above of Muzi Falls. Have a pretty key role in contesting up above and forcing the more direct hit here from the attack. As Levy, that sole player on site, has been able to net the advantage for DPLUS Kia.
And just as much as it would have been big if SCARZ could have come in first round on the attack, win out top floor, well, it's pretty big if DPLUS can go and straight up win Bunk's briefing to start the half, and then you probably go top floor after this, and you could be staring down 5-3, and that's a long way back then for SCARZ. And Levy takes a bit of contact towards Bunks. He's going to get flamed out by Nina, who's got no flame bolts left. Incendiary is gone, but he does still have the smokes. Frag grenades for UKIZ, flashes for Bashoy. They still have an air jab. Track stingers, but 30 seconds. A lot of this utility now isn't going to help them except for the smokes from Nina. Probably just banking on the fact, layer the smokes, dump a couple of flashes, go for the plant. Layers the smokes, doesn't go for the plant. And he hits the headshot onto Midi.
There's a above. Interesting change of action here.
Well, he probably doesn't feel like he probably didn't feel like he could get the plant.
No, not with the water. No.
The thing is, now you have to. Oh, Levy not expecting the double and triple drop. Wow, SCARZ will take Bunk's briefing. It was a strange old round. I mean, credit to SCARZ, though, because if he had to just run in towards site, and if they didn't put pressure on that top floor, they probably don't get that plant down. So they know that they have to go clear above. Even though he's got kit, he still wants to add extra bodies to that. And then you can always just drop, go plant last second. That's a really well-worked round from SCARZ.
Yeah, it looks a bit goofy, but it was actually pretty well thought out. Going for plant directly there and having maybe a low % chance of winning the fights above leaves you very vulnerable to the Warden. And so by flooding above, then going for the the triple drop down below. Sure, it looked a little weird, but yeah, actually worked really, really well. So
it also helps, though, I guess, in the positioning sense of Levy at the end. If he's actually in a position where he can maybe get that first kill, tuck in high, there's only 7-8 seconds left. Maybe it could have played out a little differently, but because technically he was out in the open from where the hatch was, a lot easier for them to just, yeah, get that triple drop to work. Punk's briefing goes by SCARZ. They take the lead here on Lair. An attacking round to kickstart the second half. Top floor will be a different beast altogether. But you can see from just their cameras alone how much it meant to them. We saw Rack pumped up. So they do get that opening attack round to just get themselves a good confidence booster.
It was the tertiary side of choice, though, so there's an asterisk over that round, but yeah, clearly the overall strategy for DPLUS in terms of selecting that side hasn't quite paid off.
I do wonder if DPLUS could go on tilt if they lose this round. This one right here. 5-3 down, things aren't working out. They'll probably call timeout. So, while they're not on the ropes, I do think they're on the ropes of potentially being tilted, and that could affect them going forward. You could see in the camera reactions in the previous round, a couple of players with, you know, kind of threw their head back a little bit. It's like, oh my God, like, how did they get that one? And there's been a couple of rounds like that from SCARZ too.
Yeah, I think I may have mentioned that in the earlier portion of the day, maybe, that I do get the impression, at least from what we see body language-wise, etc., that DPLUS are pretty momentum-based, and that goes strongly both ways when they're up and about. They're playing well. They're very happy, and that confidence serves them well, but equally, when things start to get a little frustrating, sometimes it looks like they do go a bit quiet inside of the server. And that's something we saw in the Cyclops game. And they'll be hoping that they don't fall victim to that here in this matchup, as Falls finds the first. He's going for a cross-country journey outside as Levy finds one in the meantime, and unfortunately for SCARZ, this round has essentially already fallen apart in the first 2 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's the one site, though, where you can probably say it's acceptable for it to fall apart, and you don't, and you probably don't get a lot of success. Not that they'll give up on the round. Still, if you can find the next 2 kills, it's back on. They'll have to do so quickly. Do still have some decent utility. There's a couple of smokes. You got the incendiary. You got the death mark frag grenade. If you kids can maybe do something here from the first floor, this will be another death mark going out onto the mirror of Musi, who, by the way, is yet to find a kill. Gas babe thrown out from Midi. They do still have the nitro from Falls. So far, one to forget for Musi. Oh, that's the opportunity. Niers just goes wide peeking. I don't know why he just walks into the middle of the room and swings that. You can just hold, wait for them to flood in. And Musi is on the board. Critical kill onto Yukiz as, well, Fishlake was forced back by the gas babe of Midi, and then falls, and the round is done. Musi gets a second at the end of it as well. DPLUS Gear tie it up 4-4 comfortably in the end, able to defend the top floor.
Yeah, but to lock it down pretty concisely in the end. Some big plays early in the round. Ultimately working out nicely there for DPLUS Kia. And so the scoreline now sits 4 apiece as we enter the 9th round. Basement will be the site of choice.
Attackers need to locate.
Again, this is a match that's so tricky at the moment to call either way. This first rotation thrown off a little bit by the initial site selection. DPLUS Kia over towards Storms. That didn't pay off, but they've been able to respond nicely. Top floor and basement, another opportunity for them to reclaim the lead.
So a tight one here, 4-4. SCARZ fighting to stay alive in kickoff. DPLUS just want to get this one done. Book their place into next week's finals, I guess. Lower bracket against Kinotropa Waits, and then the grand final against CAG. Levy's been magnificent so far on Lair, 12-4. It's been a very even spread performance across the two maps from both teams. The highest kill leader is at 16 kills, which is Rack and Nears. 7-2 on the entry for Nears as well. I mean, I know Nears has certainly had some goofy moments, even actually won in the previous round with the wide swing on site. But he has statistically been the best player in the server. Wreck with the basement lurkers. Logic bomb available now for UKIS if they want to get some information. Need to be mindful of the EDDs placed by Nears as Midi takes a big chunk of damage. I think that was from Washoy or maybe UKIS. Bit of aggression in this lineup though for SCARZ. The Doggerby, the Ash, the Snake, the Blackbeard to help. A lot of trap utility in this round as well for DPLUS is kind of the perfect counter. Emphasis on a lot.
It looks like they'll shape up for a horizontal creep. And then he'll stay above for now. A couple of targets still potentially await him on this first floor. SCARZ will drone forward further, deeper in towards the objective. Nina still yet to use his radar here to confirm the positions of anyone above, but the logic bomb might give him a sound cue to play off. Here's them to the right. Can he land the shot? Oh, he's being watched. Oh, Nears. Oh, and he shoots the body for good measure.
I think he's putting your face on the body there. Being critical of some of his sloppy moments. He's been really...
Hey, like you said, and I agree. He's also had some very good moments, so it's one or the other.
40 seconds of the round, by the way, as the time has just completely dwindled away from SCARZ, and then they've lost Nina. Now it's just going to have to be a flood into sight through basement direct. Rek's going to lead the charge. He's just kind of also been forced back because DPLUS are playing the hiding game. They've got 3 on this first floor. So if SCARZ do go fully direct here, getting this plant down is not going to be easy. And they're coming in very late, and you've still got to deal with Falls and Musi playing the site directly. Heading into red time. This is very, very late for SCARZ. Rek is just sitting and hoping he can catch some of these defenders that will be looking to come in horizontally. Plant going down. It looks like it will be successful from Fishlake. It will be a post plant, and they got the kill onto Midi. Big battle hit. Lemmy wins it against UKIS. Will get the quick revival onto Nears. Now, of course, they've already got players on this first floor, so you've got a little bit of the vert control, but you do need to get some bodies in the site itself. This now becomes very winnable for SCARZ. Rek more worried about the vert. Falls able to swing, and now they get the next shot as well. 1v2 against the Blackbeard of Fishlake, and it's Musi from a distance. The man who couldn't buy a kill in the first half clutches up in the 9th round as DPLUS Kia make it 2 straight and go take the lead 5-4.
Well, that was an impressive retake. What a string of shots landing there for DPLUS Kia. Most of them at medium long range. Didn't really miss a beat there. A little chaotic, especially with the lurk over towards first floor lobby that was being employed there by SCARZ, but they were able to find the kill, hit the res, transition that in towards site. Some really good comms, especially with like the drop/swing combination that we saw from Falls, a good example of that, and then swiftly dealt with the Blackbeard. If that first initial shot doesn't land, there may have been a world in which SCARZ could actually play for time there in the post with the Blackbeard, even in the 1v2. So, a nice little run of form for DPLUS Kia. 5-4 the scoreline.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
As they get one step closer towards knocking out SCARZ.
Mine going out. Loading new magazine.
2 more rounds needed for DPLUS Kia. And again, one of the strengths of DPLUS Kia have been the opening kills for them. You brought up the statistic earlier. It was the first 3 rounds. You recall back, it was Rek that was able to get the first 3 opening kills, and SCARZ went 2-1 off that. And then Rec got a fourth one later on to close the first half, which they converted on that. So they only failed to convert on one opening kill round for SCARZ, but they just haven't got enough of them. That's kind of been the issue. They're not really getting these early advantages now. It's been 5 out of the last 6 rounds, DPLUS have gotten these early advantages. So lo and behold, in the 5 out of the last 6 rounds, they've won, well, the vast majority of the rounds and now take the lead. Do or die now for SCARZ. Every round from here must win. Super critical. We started Bunk's briefing to kickstart this second half, which was a strange decision by DPLUS. Didn't pay off. They lost it to SCARZ, and SCARZ will now get a second go at it. See if they can win it again and tie this up 5-5. If they don't, top floor unlocks after this round.
Activating Selma.
2 minutes on the clock, and SCARZ need to step it up here. Top 4 clear first on the agenda, trying to flush out those up above defense. It's a 2-2-1 split, so 2 top floor currently for DPLUS Kia. Muzi and Near's first floor midi will lurk at barrels, at seemingly a position that he likes. We've seen that previously from him. Combination being able to relay information and then being in a position of flank late as well. Also in a very progressive position over towards Skybridge as well. As Yuki contests onto Levy and now kind of caught in an awkward spot. Regardless, those SCARZ will take this control, seemingly undeterred. 70 seconds now remain. Rec watching the flank over towards lobby. Again, they need to be mindful of Skybridge. Falls is still in that position. I think DPLUS Kia are probably going to play for the collapse back onto the second floor, if time permits. And for SCARZ, they're trying their best to flush out the objective and set up this plan.
Oh, Mini does deny the plant. He gets traded immediately, but the job done. And now it's forcing Wishui into action. Picks it up inside of the smoke, which will begin to dissipate shortly. But they're winning battles elsewhere, courtesy of Fishlike. It's a knife kill, though, from Nears. And that means that for SCARZ, they're going to go down and get this kit. 20 seconds. At least one has to drop. Maybe even both have to go down to take on Nears and Muzi, especially with the clash still up. 10 seconds. This is do or die right now for SCARZ. You've got to be quick in your decision making. At this point, you've got to go for the kills. There's only 6 seconds left. They'll look for a last second drop hinge. 3 seconds, literally on the last second. And Muzi shuts Rec down. There's no time. It's now match and series point to DPLUS Kia.
Wow, they've done a really good job in sustaining a lot of pressure in that round. They looked in control. And for SCARZ, that time really coming back to bite them. And now their backs are well and truly up against the wall. It's going to be tough. Tactical timeout called by SCARZ in a last-ditched attempt to stay alive here in Kickoff.
Yeah, I mean, they've had opportunities. It's been competitive. At the very least, I think I said pre-match. I know we had a couple of delays. I can't even remember at what point we actually had pre-match discussions, but it needs to be competitive. You can't just get absolutely smashed here by DPLUS. If you lose it, it's got to be close. And at the very least for them, you know, the takeaway is it has been close. It has been competitive. DPLUS have had to fight for this. And that's good signs moving forward for the rest of the year for this SCARZ roster. The bad news is, though, you're now facing elimination from Kickoff. It's going to be, essentially a 4th place finish, which means you're behind Kinotrote, which is maybe not ideal. But it's just the reality of the bracket and the way things shaped up. I mean, SCARZ had their chance. They could have beaten Kinotrope in that upper bracket semi-final. They won the first map in that all the way back then. So they had an opportunity to have maybe at least minimum secured top 3, still being alive. But 2 rounds straight needed to try and force overtime, to then try and force Cafe out of the timeout, but into the top floor. That's now the concern for SCARZ. They've not been able to win top floor. They've only had the one crack at it, but it was a pretty clean defense for DPLUS Kia. They had the 4 players alive. Falls got the opening kill into Washoy, and from there, everything just fell apart for the attack of SCARZ. But outside of that site, outside of this site, 2 alive in their win on Bunk's briefing, 2 alive in the other 2 losses, Basement and Bunk's briefing. Again, the competitiveness has been there for SCARZ. They need the first kill or they probably lose this site. Taking into account the statistics for DPLUS, but also this site.
Oh, is there another gear to be found here for SCARZ? Or are they going to peter out? DPLUS Kia have looked the better of the 2 so far today, but SCARZ have showed some pretty good resilience here on there so far. They've got the right tools to deal with the lineup here from the defense, which is very util heavy. The Malusi, the Azami, and the Castle. Yukis has to prioritize that utility correctly. Only so much he can do, and there's a bit of a lack of explosives elsewhere as well. A couple of gone 6s, but still it's going to be a net negative for the attack in terms of what they can and can't actually clear. And so that utility could certainly come into play later. There's also a plethora of barbed wire, so no shortage of util that will stall out this push late round. Midpoint, and SCARZ still peppering around. Fishlike with control over towards Skybridge, and Nina in ops. That's about it at the moment.
The concern for me, though, is the timing. I mean, Master and R6 will play slow naturally, but the one round that they've won in this half was the opening kill at the 2.5 minute mark. Now, it was against them, but it just meant that the action kind of flowed a little earlier. Since then, it's just been all a minute and below. Oh, Nina, he's desperately searching, desperately trying to find that kill there onto Midi. The barbed wire just keeps him at bay as Midi can hold the close angle at the corner. Levy with a drive-by shot. Washoy now very, very low. Still has 4 Kendelas down to the last 50 seconds of the round.
Here are the flashes. Can Washoy find value? The Azami continues to stall him out. Now just over 30 seconds remain. Can DPLUS Kia hold on and lock out the series?
We've got the 2 smokes as well from Washoy that are going to have to be thrown out along with these Kendelas to help facilitate for Wreck. They need to try and combine together, get that Glaz into a power position. Washoy's just going to send it. Forget about the smokes. He just goes shotgun mode and picks up the pace. And with a bit of help as well from Fishlike, they got the first 2 kills in the round. But the response is swift from DPLUS Kia. And low on time, you need the kills because now Nina needs to get the kit down. He's by himself. It's a 1v1. But as the time expires, Musi will get the freest of kills surely, but he's slow to react. He'll get off the plant. He might get a chance. It's over. Musi clutches it up. Nina had 1 chance, 1 shot, and he couldn't land it. DPLUS Kia will move forward to the lower bracket final next week on their quest for the major spot. It's still alive. For SCARZ, their time in kickoff comes to an end.
Really impressive start from DPLUS Kia. Throughout the course of the day, they licked their wounds after that loss against Cyclops in the upper bracket semi to respond. Firstly against Alpha Salafo, and then backing it up against SCARZ with another comprehensive performance. And I still can't help but shake the feeling that they might be the team. There is that possibility that they can make this run count in the lower bracket.
And it's another team, Guz, that we've had throughout kickoffs where they've had to play the 2 best of 3s in a given day, and they've won both of them. It's the warm-up versus fatigue factor that, again, the warm-up seems to be the one side that comes out on top. You got to take into account it's DPLUS Kia. They're a strong team and certainly would have come in as favorites regardless having played that earlier series. But it's still a very, very long day for these guys. We're talking about an 8-hour-long day, and you can see what it meant to them after that win against SCARZ. They'll take on Kinotrope Gaming next week in the lower bracket final, and they'll have to do back-to-back best of 3s again to win that one and then win the grand final too. But they'd rather be in that position than be in SCAR's position, who have been knocked out. Formidable from SCARS, and certainly, as I've kind of reiterated a few times, competitive. And that's what you wanted from SCARS. You didn't want this to be a one-sided affair, and at least for their case, they went down fighting.
Yeah, for sure. I think naturally they're going to be very disappointed. I think they probably viewed Kickoff as a real opportunity to, you know, start reclaiming a little bit of form, and unfortunately it didn't quite go their way, right? Losing to Kinotrope set themselves up for this lower bracket position where it looked very likely that DPLUS was an eventual opponent after that CAG result, and so they probably looked at this match as a real opportunity to take down what is arguably one of the top 2 teams, I suppose, currently in APN, and yeah, they fall short of the mark. So for SCARS, it's about picking themselves back up for stage 1.
Yeah, I think for DPLUS Kia, though, they know full well they should be making the grand final. Kinotrope should be just the team that's in their way. They'll respect them, they'll put the work in, and they'll know that Kinotrope have had a good kickoff stage so far. But really, it's at the very least for the likes of, I think, just 2 teams in this APAC North region in CAG and DPLUS Kia, it's grand final minimum, because only one of them can actually go to the grand final, right? So at least grand final minimum has to be for both of those 2. We'll go to our MVP for the day, which ends up being Musi. Now, the way this works is kind of just based on the 3 series matchups that we had. You pick an MVP across the 3 of those, and his performance earlier today against Helpus LFO, maybe not so much the series that we just had, but in that series, he walks away as the MVP.
Yeah, he was pretty solid across the board. He was only narrowly edged out by Falls in terms of raw APS in that matchup, but he certainly probably had some higher impact moments. 18-9 KD, 1-1 entry, and across the board was just really clean and consistent, which is kind of what you want. This play right here, for me, was probably one of the better of the day, where he was able to withstand the pressure of the Blackbeard. And this was quite early in the series, where DPLUS Kia were then able to go on and sort of establish a little bit of dominance in that regard. So, yeah, credit to him. Good outing. Chalet wasn't too indifferent either. And yeah, again, it was kind of one of those series where there were a couple of players in contention for MVP, for instance, right? Like Falls wasn't far behind. He actually had 2 clutches, a plan to disable in that series as well. So yeah, you could kind of roll the dice a little bit between a couple of members there from DPLUS Kia, but a good highlight of a player and a team by extension that kickstarted momentum, established dominance in that series, and then they were kind of the benefactors of having the 2 best of 3s in the day, where they were confident, they were sharp, they were ready to go, and then that translated across to the SCARS match as well.
Yeah, 100%. I think that his addition to this roster has been a solid one. Lost a Bullet, who I think is a really good player as well. Doesn't help, but you're bringing in someone with a lot of experience and certainly a lot of quality. Maybe wasn't at his very, very best against SCARS, certainly on Lair, where I think he started 0-6, but once he got going, well, no surprise, DPLUS Kid were able to close it out and book their place in the lower bracket final, guys. What a day, though, for APL Kickoff, APAC North here on the Friday. And all it does is kick off the weekend ahead as well. So I'm looking forward to more action to come. If it's anything like today, once you get down to the tail end of a tournament, you get some really fun games with a lot on the line. We saw that. And again, unfortunate for SCARS, but DPLUS just a little bit better. We'll go to the bracket as we shape up where we sit now going into what will be next week's last week, our last day for Kickoff APAC North. CAG, they sit in the grand final spot after beating Kinotrope earlier today. DPLUS Kia continue their run in the lower bracket, defeating Helpus LFO and then defeating SCARS. Now they book their place in the lower final against Kinotrope next weekend.
Yeah, it very much feels to me like the most likely outcome is a DPLUS Kia victory over Kinotrope, and then we see a rematch of that upper semi-final. Yeah, actually, I almost lost it for a second, the upper semi-final. And the hope will be that if that is the case, DPLUS Kia play better to their potential, probably respect the prep work, maybe that CAG are going to do a little bit more heading into that matchup, and then going well prepared, and we see a 3-map belter for the major qual. And that's not to disrespect Kinotrope by any stretch. They showed some positive signs today, but I just think when the pressure really mounts and the margins close, DPLUS Kia, for me, have shown enough to probably win that series. Have they shown enough to actually take down CAG? I would hesitate to say yes. I think it's still pretty marginal, and CAG are still favorites to take that slot at the major. But again, and we had this discussion at the start of the day, it still doesn't quite feel as clear cut as maybe Asia and OS do at the moment, for instance.
We've got Falls in for an interview fresh off of the win. Hello, Falls. Thank you so much for coming in and having a chat with us pretty much straight after the game. I did want to ask you one question here, which is maybe a bit tongue-in-cheek, but do you think that's the last time you're going to get to play Lair for the rest of this kickoff stage?
I don't know. I think it depends on the other teams, to be honest. Thank you for the welcoming. To be honest, I think I miss you guys. I miss you giving interviews and all of it. But yeah, it's gonna depend on the other teams.
I mean, on other teams, let's jump straight into it, right? You have a big run ahead of you. If you are to make it to the major, give us your thoughts on your path to the major. How confident are you guys can make it, I guess, to the grand final first and foremost? And then CAG, unfortunately, you guys had a very rough game against them last time. If we do see that rematch, how do you adjust your game plan and your style to try and take them down on that second attempt?
Yeah, I feel that we are pretty confident. We are still in the process, like we put Musi on the lineup, so we're still like learning a lot, like adapting how we play with him in the core. So to be honest, like this tournament is like a learning thing for us. It's the first tournament together, and against AG, like of course we're gonna do some adjustments, but like when you wake up and it's not your day, you know, you're not on your day. There's not much you can do. So I think we just need to be like more prepared for a matchup with them, and I think it will be fine.
Falls, you guys have now been in the APAC region for quite a bit of time now. Where do you kind of view it going into 2026 quality-wise? Do you feel like it's improving about the same as last year? How do you kind of view the APAC North region?
Like I'm liking like the same way I like last year. I think we did a lot of improvement, like as a team, you know, like last year we are the new team on the block, and now the teams already kind of know us, know what we are capable of. And I truly believe that we have like some improvements on APL North teams also, especially CAC, for example. I think they're better than last year. So well, yeah, I'm pretty hyped, and I think it's good to have a challenge, you know.
The last one before I let you go, obviously when it comes to the slots for majors, etc., the team that performs the best at those international events can then help their own region get an extra slot. Does that give you motivation to see the APAC North region improve, so you go from, say, 1 slot to 2 for potential future majors?
Yeah, definitely. But first of all, we need to make it to the major is our first step. But yeah, like have the opportunity to do this for APAC North is pretty cool. If you have the chance, I will be really honored.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Falls, for having a chat, and best of luck next week for what is going to be your run to the major, hopefully for your sake.
Hopefully. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye. See ya.
Big thank you to Falls for coming on. We got the schedule ahead for the action on the mainstream. EML will be starting in a good couple of hours time, and big matches there, guys, especially in that lower bracket. For the 4 teams that remain, 2 of course will make it to the major, 2 will not.
Yeah, 2 big games in the lower bracket semi-final as that charge continues across as well towards the major. So yeah, very exciting for EML, which has produced some interesting results, some big roster changes over there as well. So if you are from APL and for whatever reason you're awake in 3.5 hours, which to be fair we probably all will be, then go check it out.
Alrighty, well, we're going to close up for today's action here for APAC North. It's been an absolute pleasure. We return, though, of course, tomorrow for Asia, guys. I'm looking forward to that one. We'll see if Weibo can continue on their juggernaut run. Again, 3.5 hours time. EML, go have a break, come back. More Siege in a few hours.